Hi, I'm Laura Cathcart-Robbins, and I am the host and creator of the podcast, Only One in the Room. Every week, my co-host Scott Slaughter and I invite you to join us and lose yourself in someone's only one story. The Only One in the Room has a wide variety of guests, from prisoners to abuse survivors to swingers. With 21 seasons and counting, we guarantee that Only One in the Room will have a story that you'll connect with. This podcast is for anyone who has ever felt alone in a room full of people, which is to say that this podcast is for everyone.
Hello, I am Kristen Russo.
And I am Jenny Owen Youngs.
We are the hosts of Buffering the Vampire Slayer once more, with spoilers, a rewatch podcast covering all 144 episodes of, you guessed it, Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
We are here to humbly invite you to join us for our 5th Buffy prom, which, if you can believe it, we are hosting at the actual Sunnydale High School. That's right. On April 4th and 5th, we will be descending upon the campus of Torrance High School, which was the filming location for Buffy's Sunnydale High, to dance the night away to 90s music in the iconic courtyard, to sip on punch right next to the Sunnydale High fountain, and to nerd out together in our prom best inside of the set of Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
All information and tickets can be found at bufferingcast.com/prom. Come join us.
Hello, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year!
A bit quieter if people are listening to this for New Year's Day. Just imagine that. What did you guys do for New Year's Eve? How did you see in 2018?
Oh, it was wicked.
Daniel Cooper, what did you do?
I had some super noodles.
Yeah.
And I watched Murder on the Orient Express.
Ooh.
But don't tell me the ending because I haven't watched it yet. this is pre-recorded.
Alicia Judge, what did you do for New Year's Eve?
What did I do for New Year's Eve? I'm not sure I can really.
Must have been good if you can't remember.
Last night. Fucking hell.
I'm still on the beer. No, I'm not sure.
Joseph Scrabbles, what did you do for New Year's Eve?
I scammed other people's fireworks and drank rum. Stood on a balcony and went, dickheads paid for this.
Watching someone else's fireworks feels like stealing your neighbour's Wi-Fi. It's that level of.
It's good shit. That's what it is.
No, I thought you say wife then.
Yeah.
It's
exactly the same.
That's a bit worse than.
Law of relativity.
Charlotte, get in here. Look at these photos. These photos. Fucking hell, fireworks. Big night last night.
Big night.
Me and Charlotte. We got to know each other.
Looking at photos of fireworks with my wife.
My stolen wife.
So we kicked off 2018, and we're going to kick with... I don't know. That's how good it was. We're going to kick off 2018 by going through all the stuff that we're personally really excited about. Now, obviously, if we went through every single thing that's come out in 2018, it would take us fucking forever. And it is New Year's Day, and we do need to get this on the show on the road. So
Use your words, Gav.
these are just the things that we all personally are very excited about. So don't fucking bother emailing and be like, wow, why didn't you talk about the Han Solo film? It's probably going to be all right.
I'll tell you what that new film is going to be about. It's going to be about those gold dice.
Yeah.
They're going to feature in that movie in a big way.
Do you reckon?
Yeah, because they're how he won the Millennium Falcon. And they're going to make them in a bigger thing.
So the tiny bit that doesn't make any sense in the biggest film of the year is actually going to make sense later on in this
also,
year.
you know, the original dice were proper dice that had pips on.
All right, yeah.
And the new ones are like all crazy
weird.
space language.
So they've kind of messed with the canon there, haven't they?
Well, they can do whatever they want. They are the canon.
Don't give a shit.
No one messes with my canon but me.
Do you see they teed up a bit of Last Jedi in Rogue One?
Yeah.
This came out yesterday.
Oh, it was
What was
the
this?
Hyperspace tracking was brought up in the Empire's plans in Rogue One.
That's what all those reshoots are about.
Yeah, that was it. We have to have this one line.
It's locked.
Everyone's got like beards and different hair.
Gareth Evans like, all right, but I want to direct a scene in the new one. Right, what are you going to do? We have a bit where this man says, oh, that tastes like salt.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's the best bit
Anyway.
of that film.
All right, so we're going to go through all the things we're excited about, starting off with the video games. Daniel, you're excited about a game.
I'm excited about a game called Spider-Man.
Yay.
And it stars Spider-Man. And you'll be able to play as Spider-Man. Also MJ. Which,
Yes.
I'm looking forward to. So Spider-Man in the game's 23. It's quite an older Spider-Man that we're used to.
Yeah.
And I'm just really excited about it because one of my favourite video games of my life really is in 2012. I remember when I was doing my GCSEs, we used to go around to my friend Michael's house and we used to spend hours just trying to get every collectible in Spider-Man 2.
In 2012?
Yeah.
That was late. What the-
2012, 2002.
I was going to say.
Yeah,
Yeah, 2012 is when Amazing Spider-Man 2 came out. But yeah, I love that game. And it's one of those games where it was the idea of having an open world city to explore Spider-Man was really exciting.
Yeah.
When you got it, it was fun to zip around and web sling. It was a bit shonky, and there's not a lot to do in it, and every mission was basically the same.
Was it Spider-Man 2 where it was all fog on the floor, or is that Spider-Man 1?
Mate, it was a lot of fog in New York. Not a city famed for its fog,
Well, because
of course.
There's one where the reason you can't land on the streets and walk around is because there's evil fog.
Yeah.
And so you just can't go there.
Evil
That's
fog.
handy, isn't
Yeah,
it?
evil fog.
Is it green?
Yeah, it is green. Yeah.
He couldn't even swim as well. So if there was collectibles out in the Hudson River and you couldn't get them, and you would just instantly die.
Spiders aren't good with water, though, to be fair.
Get
I don't
some-
like
Whoa,
that.
have you seen those
like-
water spiders? They're pretty messed up.
Yeah, I suppose.
Yeah, but they're like specialists.
Yeah.
They're like, I don't know, heavy troopers.
Like goggles on each of their 8 eyes.
Exactly.
He would just perish. But I'm really excited. It's made by obviously Insomniac, who made Sunset Overdrive and Resistance, and I think Sunset Overdrive is a good demo tape for doing a Spider-Man game.
Straight up.
Like some of the tone and also the mechanics, like zipping around that city is really fun.
They've been talking about how they're not just doing swinging, it's like creating a constant movement, so you can swing and then do some
Adapt.
parkour and then swing again.
Well, that's the most impressive thing for that extended gameplay thing they showed at E3, where it looked part open world but also part structured like an Uncharted sequence. So it's like, how does this splinter? Like, if you fuck up and you smash through the building, is that meant to happen, or is that the game kind of self-correcting itself?
I'm guessing it'll just be instanced areas, won't it? You start a mission and then you're in a place,
Yeah.
and then you're out again.
And it's also original story written by Dan Slott, who's one of the best Spider-Man writers of recent times. He's done the current run of Amazing Spider-Man. So I just think it's got really good pedigree, and obviously it's like one of Sony's big games of next year. I'm sure it's going to be quite good.
That would be real nice.
Fantastic. Alicia, what are you excited about?
Well, it changed quite a lot because I was really excited for A Way Out. And then I saw Joseph Fares at the Game Awards stand up and just be a colossal wank puffin. And then I was like, I'm just wank puffin. And
Also, I really liked that. I thought he was fun.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, he's just pissed.
He's just
No,
drunk.
but he wasn't. So he came and did a statement afterwards saying, when I was at the Game Awards, people thought I was on cocaine. I've never even seen cocaine. I don't even smoke weed. I'm like, what the fuck? This is who I am. And then he goes on, he goes, I literally don't care. But that doesn't mean I don't respect people. Like, he went out on stage at like the biggest games awards thing that there is. And if you're going to hijack a show, like I'm all for hijacking award shows to say something important. I think some really amazing stuff has happened this year with like people going out and accepting an award and making a point about the industry or something as a whole. He just goes up, insults a bunch of people, says that his game is fantastic, and then like comes across as a massive bellend.
Who did he insult?
He insulted like the Oscars and other entertainment industries and things. But anyway, so I was excited about that, and now I don't really want to play that anymore.
I like that because Jeff Keighley didn't have a fucking clue
It was
what to do,
amazing.
and I cannot stand that man.
Oh man, Jeff
like,
Keighley.
The dead eyes of Jeff Keighley trying to control a rogue.
Watching his like mouth twitch around like he was trying to find a smile but didn't know how to do it anymore. It was amazing.
Other podcasts, it's like, if you're Jeff Keighley and you're not just the presenter, you orchestrate those awards. If that happens, you must be going, this is brilliant.
Like that's
I
what
think
He's what you want his Oscar.
At the beginning, that was what was going through his head, but you can kind of see as the minutes pass, his face just darken as he goes, I need to get this show back on the road. And like,
it's like, I need to get this fucking bit of gameplay up. Who gives a fuck? Like, I don't know. I just like, that for me is what sets apart games industry from other stuff. It's like, it's not the stuffiness of it. You can have some mad guy who's been given a shitload of money and now is making this game, and it's just this weird dude get up and say whatever he wants.
I totally agree with you. I think if he'd have got up on stage and he'd just been like really happy, he's like got this really great stage and he's like really excited about his game. But
I thought he was quite happy.
No, that totally didn't come across to me. Arrogance came across to me. Just this idea of like,
Was he not defending EA?
No.
Yeah, he did a bit.
No, he didn't defend EA. He said that they were...
Yeah, he did a bit.
He said sometimes publishers fuck up.
I thought he took a pop at them, and it was really funny.
He's
saying
like,
that
he's publisher, so he's like... Like, give him a break about Battlefront. But they're funding my game and they've been nothing but like good to me.
I
funny that, Joseph. And he's like, listen, the people give me all this money are brilliant.
Love them.
I swear when I watched it, he said, yeah, they're funding my game, but like, oh yeah, they fucked up big time. Like I remember being like, ooh, you're skating on shaky ground there, my friend, if they're funding your game.
Right. I thought his point was like everyone fucks up sometimes.
Yeah.
Skating on shaky ground is extra hard as well. Skating's hard anyway.
It absolutely is. But yeah, and then there was The Last Night, which is this really cool 2/3D cinematic platformer. Have you guys seen it?
Yeah, but
it's like pixel art.
He is actually a dickhead.
Well, so this is the thing. I was so excited for that. It's this Blade Runner style like game.
Oh yeah,
where-
isn't that a bell end?
Yeah, so this is the thing. It looks amazing, set in this kind of world where the robots have taken over, and rather than humanity's survival being, you know, it's about food and drink and all these other stuff that we've got on our plates.
Yeah.
It's surviving means like just having a meaning to exist because the robots have just taken everything.
But you know who those robots are?
Who are they?
Minorities.
Wow.
Because he hates them.
This is the
Are
thing.
robots by
Allegedly.
robots are minorities anyway.
Yeah, but
But they're
Well, not in this. They are the
What, different
majority in
types of
this
metal?
future.
that's the problem, mate.
But he turns around and he said that it takes place in a cyberpunk world where modern feminism won instead of egalitarianism, added the Gamergate hashtag, and then claimed the game would show the dangers of extreme progressivism. So by this point, I was feeling pretty depressed about 2018.
And that's all we've got time for. So,
So what game do you like?
chess. Anyone heard of it?
Backgammon. Biomutant. That one looks good. It's a game by a Swedish indie game studio who are co-founded by the former creative director of Just Cause 3. And the whole idea of it is that there's this kind of other world where there's a huge tree of life and it's got 5 roots that are spread across the world and they're being gnawed away by these creatures. So you play as essentially like Rocket Raccoon and you're going around trying to find the creatures who live at the end of the roots and like destroy them so the world can breathe again. But the thing that's more interesting about it is like the mechanics rather than the concepts. That if anyone's really into like story-driven RPGs with like really interesting character creation, when you create your raccoon, you can make its fur longer. Or its
Are you actually a
fangs.
raccoon?
Yeah.
Right.
Well, you're
You
like
can-
a little weird alien mouse.
Yeah,
Right, okay.
it looks a bit like a raccoon.
Some sort of
Okay.
rodent.
basically.
That's okay.
Yeah, and you can make your like teeth longer or your fur longer, and like that seems like an aesthetic choice. But in this game, it also plays into like the stats of your character. And as you go throughout the game, you can change the appearance of your character at will because it's where the biomutantism comes into it. That you can go into an area and put your hand in some weird water and that will make your fur change to a different like type that means you can go into another area and survive. So like your character could feasibly completely change in appearance over the course
So it's
of the
almost like
game.
instant evolution.
Yeah, it's
through
exactly. It's like
mutation.
evolution on the fly and like
There's an
that's cool.
X-Men called Darwin, and his like skill is like instantaneous evolution or adaptation. So it's kind of like you go into an area and you can adapt it immediately.
Oh, that's cool.
What's going to happen if I fuck up this mouse though? And then,
Well, with like
and then
6 arms.
it's just a mess. It's just like, can I just kill this
It's
one?
just like he's got too many mutations. He literally can't breathe.
Because when you say it in my head,
You've turned him into a pug.
when you said that, you can adjust the size of his teeth. I was just thinking of that Simpsons episode where like they shows like Lisa's teeth coming out of her head. I'd be like, that's what I'm doing to my mouse. And then like 8 hours later, I'm like, I should have done that with his
Oh,
head.
his defense is really low.
Alien mouse,
And his
these
brain's
braces.
coming out all the time.
Yeah, it'd be completely feasible.
Yeah.
I don't know whether that's feasible, but
Also, the
it'd
mouse-
be cool if it was.
Mouse does kung fu as well.
That's,
Would
I
lead
think
with
that's the most important bit.
I was waiting for you to mention
Who's-
kung fu.
Who's teaching an alien mouse kung fu?
He's taught himself.
Has he? Fair play to him. I say.
Biomutant. He's
another
evolved.
mutation.
It's basically like the great descendant of what's that guy from Kung Fu Panda, the kind of mousy fellow with the moustache?
Oh,
Who, like,
Jackie
Justin
Chan.
Hoffman.
Yeah.
Oh God!
Got someone here, look, problematic.
He's been cut out. He's been replaced by Robin Wright.
Joe,
What?
what are you excited about game-wise?
For about 3 hours, this document said Dynasty Warriors 9,
Yeah.
and then I felt bad about it. So I
I
put
was
Red
into
Dead
it.
Redemption 2 instead. Red Dead Redemption 2 was a game that I was obviously interested in,
Yes.
but having played several more hours of GTA Online
Yeah.
in the last few weeks because of the Doomsday Heist, I suddenly remember how incredible that is, and
Yeah,
that
yeah.
if they launch Red Dead Online in a better state than how GTA Online came out,
Yeah.
it's going to be the best thing I do next year, including real life events. It's going to be so much fun.
If you listen to this podcast, then you can hear a couple of podcasts ago now, by the time this comes out, when we started talking about it with Al, because you guys have been playing the heist, and we started talking about what we want from Red Dead Redemption. I listened to it back, and there's just a silence from one side of the table as me and you start parting out what's Red Dead Redemption like. I was like, I wanted to be heist, like train robbing, something like that, where it's like, I was going to be like fucking Back to the Future.
Flying trains! Just
Like-
going off.
That game, like, 'cause we've played a lot recently. That game came out like 5 years ago.
Yeah.
It's insane.
It's ridiculous.
And it's
Like,
just... It's
still ridiculous today.
It's not
like-
even how impressive it is as a thing. It's that like Rockstar have shown that they're willing to keep improving on it and
Yeah.
just never stop. And obviously there's a major reason for that, money.
Yeah.
But
They can,
also,
yeah.
like it's just like the sheer difference between GTA Online then and now is so incredible, and I cannot wait to see that happen again.
Yeah.
Especially in a game that I'm probably more interested in an online experience for,
Yeah.
just because of I don't know what being in the Old West online is like, and that will be really fun.
It's got hunting.
Yeah, and also the main game looks alright as well.
Yeah.
So there you go.
I keep talking about it, but there's this documentary that Danny O'Dwyer's done for his YouTube channel called No Clip, which is all about, it's called like the hillbillies of GTA. And I didn't realize this till I watched it, because I came to Red Dead a little bit late. But Red Dead had like an online version, like a
it did.
proper online
Yeah,
thing.
it was like it was full map. Yeah,
It was
Yeah.
like a proto GTA Online.
Right, okay,
But
yeah.
I suppose GTA 4 had a bit of that as well.
Yeah.
Like it's been a general process for them. I wonder if they're going to do more with Red Dead Online.
Yeah.
I told you my idea the other day. You go to the airport, you and your mates get on a plane.
Yeah.
Next stop, Vice City. You work out. That's like the major expansion to it.
That'd be cool.
Can you imagine that?
I'm also just excited about finding out, because you know that leaked map had the setting from Mafia 3 on it.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
the show 2K.
Yeah.
Oh,
universe.
yeah.
I want to know what the fuck that's about.
Well, the reason Red Dead got delayed is they had to scrap all that Battleborn stuff in it.
Look, the mushroom guy didn't turn out as exciting as we thought. Get
there's a
rid.
What, Mushroom Marston?
Mushroom Master.
One of the there's a Battleborn character in that Ready Player One trailer. It's like, how much they paid to get that in there?
Is there?
Like, I reckon
Well,
everybody
probably-
else, like,
probably
they've got to
because
pay them.
They heard that Tracer was in it, and they were
Well,
like,
that's it.
"No, we must
Yeah.
forever."
But I love the idea of like Randy Pitchford calling up Spielberg, being like, "Oh, here Tracer's in it. How much does that cost?" He's like, "Nothing. We want her in it."
Yeah.
And he's like, "All right, can we put Mushroom Guy in it?" I'll be $1 million. Stick it in.
Like the film's lot, mate.
A Miller mushroom, come on. So one of the games I'm most excited for, I was going through everything and weighing up everything that I am excited for, and I think God of War is the thing that I'm most excited for, because it's a new way of doing it. I love the idea of this little kid with you, even though a lot of people said that they're already annoyed by him. For some reason, he's not annoyed me yet.
Nah.
What are people annoyed at him about?
He just shouts a
Sounds
lot.
annoying.
That's what kids do.
Yeah, but I don't know. I feel like
I guess, yeah.
I'm really prepared to have this be like a ridiculous emotional God of
Yeah.
War, which we've never had.
Yeah.
Like God of War has always been ridiculous, which I've always liked, but at the same time always kind of felt a tiny little bit bad about liking God of War, because it's just like you're just doing naughty
Well, if
things.
it's like
It's just
Well,
lunkhead
for naughty
central, isn't
reasons.
it?
What if it's
Yeah.
really counter and throughout the course of the narrative he just winds up Kratos so much at the end he just kills him?
Yeah, that's when it sets.
I mean,
Like, it's very
let's not
keeping
do
with-
that. I don't want that.
Kratos is dying at the end of this, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
He's got to.
Yeah.
And this is like a prequel for the new God of War,
Yeah.
being the son.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I-
shave-headed
that's the thing.
boboy.
I think that's the thing that I'm most excited for it is finally not have to be embarrassed that I love God of War. Being like, no, it's like a real game. People cry watching it now.
See, the torch that you're using is a man's severed head. Well, there's if you
is
don't know
that?
your Greek mythology.
Like God of War is always one of the most fun things to play with somebody watching who's not in the video games. To be like, what are you doing now? I'm sticking my axe and those harpies are going to fly me over there because they've got my axe in them. Then what do you do with the harpies afterwards? I'm going to fucking kill them afterwards. So that's why I'm excited for that. I hope that it's not shit. And I just feel like with all the Sony games like that, even if they are a little bit shit, like I thought some of the story stuff in Horizon did my head in, but that's a fucking brilliant game, man.
Yeah.
Well, it's a while since they had a first party big dud. It's probably
Yeah.
The Order. Maybe.
Yeah.
That's been a very long time. They must have had a first party dad since then.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Let's have a think.
So, right in.
Put some countdown music
Let's
on.
break.
Kaz right in.
Does PlayStation VR count? Nah, it's probably doing all right in there.
It sold 2 million units.
Did it?
What you've not talked about with God of War, again, obvious thing, throwing his axe.
Yeah.
That's the coolest looking throw of an axe I've ever seen.
Does look really good.
100% wick.
We haven't seen that much of it either. Like, it feels like I've seen a lot more of other stuff, even though this feels like it's further along than a lot of stuff.
Well, I feel like we've seen a lot in terms of like gameplay demo that just went on for ages. It was like a full
long enough.
5 minutes or something of game, and we saw that at a very early stage.
They weighed that up with the Paris Games Week one that was 20 seconds long.
Yeah.
So that was
got
good.
you.
Well, there
That's
was
what
a
I
trailer. It
remember.
was at E3 at the end was the big serp, and you think, oh, he's going to
Here we
fire,
go.
and it's his mate. He's like
Yeah.
talking to him.
Nice.
They've
like
been
that, yeah.
also like the marketing people for God of War have been like low key releasing these amazing little videos as well.
Oh, yeah.
So they've just been like ninja releasing these awesome videos which talk about like the real life monsters that have inspired the new
that's
Honors of the God of
awesome.
War and what they're going to look like in the thing. And all the trailers, they're only like 20-30 seconds long, but each one is just like, it gives you a little bit of history and then it shows you what it looks like in the game. That's good.
It's super useful because Norse mythology is not as well known as Greek.
Yeah, yeah.
Everyone goes into God of War with like some idea of what there's
Yes,
going to be.
yeah.
Whereas this is just like, wow, world serpent,
This is real.
Yggdrasil,
Yeah.
the world tree. Coming back to
Hey,
Biomutant.
Biomutant!
Good. Well, that's every game coming out in 2018. Comprehensively covered. We're not just a video games podcast, though, guys, are we? That's right. We're an everything podcast. Talk about YouTube
Snacks.
videos, booze. It's all
Sandwiches.
going on. But also films. There's a lot of films coming out in 2018. We've mentioned the Han Solo film that's coming out. Venom. Other things.
Other ones. Black Panther.
Alicia, what are you most excited about?
I'm really excited about, speaking of video games and movies combining together in one delicious sandwich,
All right.
would be Tomb Raider. I'm really excited about this just because I think that I can't really think of a movie that's been based on a video game that I've genuinely really, really enjoyed. And I feel like this could potentially be the one where I'm like, no, you've captured the flavour, but you've also brought something new. Because inherently the Tomb Raider games are really cinematic anyway, and particularly the reboots.
Yeah.
And there are so many scenes that I can remember from when the first trailers of that game were coming out, like being so excited for seeing Lara jumping from the boat as it like cracked open over in the stormy sea, like reaching her hands out. And like, that's like a movie scene in itself. And if they do like a direct shot for shot remake for that would be incredible.
I mean,
Looks like they have,
They
yeah.
have. It's in the trailer.
Yeah. There's a lot. I forgot about this trailer, and then it was on before Star Wars. That's right. Yeah.
Did you see it before your Star Wars?
Yeah, I think
It was, yeah.
But yeah, like I don't know, I think as well Alicia Vikander is just such good casting. Like she seems like she's... do you disagree, Joe?
Her accent, though. You know how Lara Croft sounds?
Posh.
Not
Like
Swedish
Angelina
or
Jolie.
Danish or wherever Alicia Vikander's from.
She's an Oscar-winning actress.
She can't do the accent.
Oh, really?
Though.
I told you.
Even in that trailer, there were bits where she's like, "Hello, father." You're like, what?
I wish you sounded like that.
I mean, I'd watch that just for sheer
I
comic
would too.
value.
I love her dad's Fred West, though.
I told you, didn't I, that I met her accent coach in a
Fred-
taxi.
What?
That I met like
Taxi.
the guy.
Was he knocking
who-
off early?
Yeah, pretty much. The guy. The guy
He was
literally-
crying.
He trained her on how to do the accent stuff. He was her dialogue coach, and
And they sacked him, and now he does Uber.
Well, the poor guy. The week before, and he was like, his eye was quite red, and you don't really want to say anything, but then we
Oh, mate, you got a red eye.
But like, we were halfway through.
Well, in
He
case
like
he's a
rubbed his
Terminator.
eye, and I was like, "Oh, are you okay?" And he was like, "Oh yeah. Well, 2 weeks ago I put my contact lens in, but I didn't wash my hands, and now I'm blind in this eye
Jesus
permanently
Christ.
for life."
You have
And it
told me
turns
this and I
out
forgot.
This red like eye was.
I thought this was going to be why he was driving a taxi.
No, if anything, it's the reason why you
He
shouldn't
was
be
a
driving.
passenger in the.
That's the moral.
He was like, yeah, I lost my job at Tomb Raider. Now the Uber license has gone down the drain, and now I lost my eye. So
Now people haven't got
So
the
if you
accent.
think your 2018 is bad, listeners, just think of him.
That's why you like Tomb Raider.
That's why I'm excited for Tomb Raider.
tell you what, you got me there. 4 stars. Don't want to give him 5 because they got nothing to go for. Joe. I'm excited for this film, Joe.
Super Troopers 2.
Oh, baby.
Super Troopers is a film that, if you haven't seen it, is stupid. It's one of the dumbest films that I enjoy watching, and I enjoy watching a lot of dumb films. You may know.
It's a big part of my university, this was.
Oh, huge. It was it was weirdly one of those ones that we sort of stumbled on late at night and went, I'll just stick this on, and then watched about 30 times during the course of a year.
Yeah.
So if you don't know, Super Troopers is the story, in inverted commas, of several highway policemen near the border of Canada who are just shit at their jobs and get up to all sorts of business. And the sequel was originally going to be a prequel set in the 70s, and they scrapped that and just made it a sequel that takes place straight after the original film, despite it being 17 years later in real life. So they are all fatter, uglier, like
That's
they all look
amazing.
completely different, but they're playing exactly the same people.
Are they going to explain the sun deterioration in like skin elasticity?
Time dilation.
I really hope
Space
so.
time dilation.
I really
They
hope
are.
not. I really hope they just carry on.
Yeah, it's just as it is. They are now fighting over... No, they're protecting spaces of the US that were previously thought to be Canada, and then they realised the border had moved a mile. So it's them, like, with angry Canadians, and I think their new rivals are the Mounties, which
cool.
I am super into on a base level. And as long as that guy dresses up as someone and shouts, "You boys want to go Mexico?" then I'm back in. So that's it.
I kind of hope they just sample. They somehow, one of them listens to this podcast, and then just puts that in exactly as you said
Put
it.
it
Just
in.
dub it over the top.
You've done a lot of voices today. This is good.
Well into it,
Perfect,
guys.
I really have to confess, when you first mentioned that, I thought you meant Starship Troopers. And then I was just like,
Oh, man, if they brought that back, though.
but they've already done sequels, haven't they?
Well, but they've also done an animated one of Starship Troopers, which is a banger.
Is it actually good?
It's genuinely good.
That's cool.
I saw it pissed. But saw a lot of stuff.
Has it got
pissed.
original people in it?
Yeah, it has.
Clancy
Van
Brown.
Dier's in it. Yeah. Oh, maybe not Clancy Brown. I'm not sure.
Oh, I suppose he's dead.
What was Clancy Brown in recently?
He's in Punisher.
No, something else. He's the voice of something.
Thor is the satyr demon at the beginning.
That's
Boom.
good.
Here we are. Super Trooper. No. Have you seen what Super Troopers looks like recently? I tried showing it to someone the other day.
Yeah.
It looks ropey as fuck.
Oh, yeah.
I did not remember it looking
It's
that ropey.
17 years old.
Yeah.
It was filmed by, like, a sketch group.
Yeah.
Like, they're not well off.
So with this, has it been like kickstarted or
It
something
got
like that?
kickstarted.
Right, okay.
And it's only like $2 million. Like,
Yeah.
it's going to look ropey again. That's partly why I'm so excited. Because it is just like...
Yeah, and with inflation, $2 million 17 years later is pretty
Yeah.
much the same amount they have in
more
the
or
original.
less. Like, they've not done... The whole lot of them haven't done much. Like, Jade Chandrasekhar has directed a few episodes of Community, I think. But beyond that, they've not done anything. So
Focusing more on this Kickstarter.
I quite like
which
the
they made
idea
$2
that they're
million
all...
from.
They think this is like their big
bloody
comeback.
Oh, shit.
I mean, it's gonna be crap, isn't it? But I'm excited.
I guess the only thinking behind it is people like us who watched it have now got money to go to the cinema to watch it, but
I'm gonna watch it day one.
we did it. We did.
They said it's getting a cinematic release.
Yeah, not thought about that. Probably.
That's on Netflix.
Yeah.
Super Troopers.
Well, it's weird, even because like what we do in the shadows, even though so that had a Kickstarter to make that film, then they had to do another Kickstarter
To release
be
it
able
in
to
the
release it in
US.
America. Like that's not even released in America and the UK.
Also, that's a really good film. It's really hard.
Also, you should watch the Kickstarter videos they made for What We Do in the Shadows.
Oh, yeah,
They're
amazing,
genuinely
yeah.
funny comedy sketches
Oh,
by
really?
themselves.
So good. Yeah.
Like Taika Waititi and Jermaine Clement just being
Fucking
dickheads.
about.
I didn't
It's
know they did
amazing.
Kickstarter videos. I'm going to totally look those up.
So funny.
There's loads of them. Guys, I like Wes Anderson and I like dogs. So, bring those two together. What we got? I love dogs. I'm so excited for this film, man.
Yeah, me too.
It's a stop motion animated film, the second one of Wes Anderson done, and it's all about dogs.
What are these dogs doing?
So, from what I can gather, I don't actually know that much about it. From what I can gather, dogs have been put on an island.
It's in...
I feel like you could have got that without...
It's in Japan. It's in Japan. It's in Japan, which
Seriously?
is amazing. Yeah. So it all looks like amazing, crazy Japan. If you've seen Fantastic Mr. Fox,
We're talking dogs.
you've seen Fantastic Mr. Fox, you see what Wes Anderson thinks like
England
looks
England
like.
looks like. Imagine what he thinks Japan looks like. And it's
mental.
in the future, no less.
On a garbage island.
Yeah. So why are they on the garbage island? I don't know.
I think it's something like
All the dogs have been
dogs-
outlawed and they carry a virus.
It's like a plague went round and
Yeah.
they think the dogs spread it, so they sent every dog in Japan to one island where they
Yeah,
throw all their
right.
trash.
Yeah.
And the dogs are all living on this island now.
And one little kid either knows the truth or knows something he's not meant to, and he goes to the island to try and get his dog back.
Yeah, his
okay.
dog got sent
Oh,
there.
it's
Like
dog was
reverse
sent
Homeward
there, yeah.
Bound.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
But all the, like, I'm not sure if the people can talk, but the dogs definitely can talk because Bryan Cranston's a dog.
I think it's that all the people speak Japanese but unsubtitled.
That's right.
Right,
I
okay.
think that's it.
I think that is true.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it just looks amazing.
But then how are they going to do that in Japan?
Well, it would just be fine.
Put it in English. It's a very different.
Japanese dogs.
It's a very different film in Japan.
All the dogs that you spend loads of time with these dogs, you're, what the fuck are they doing? All this Japanese
unsubtitled.
Yeah, and then all the Japanese people are like,
Yeah, there's only 3 scenes as well.
Yeah, it's a bit weird, isn't it?
I saw.
A curio.
very avant-garde.
Have you seen that?
We love Wes Overy.
Have you seen that Matt Damon film, The Informant?
No, I never
It's
watched
very good, but there's a scene in that where I watched that in Germany, and there's a scene in that, and this is unsubtitled, but there's a scene in that where he says his favorite German word, and he says, "Oh, my favorite." Do you know what he's talking to a German person? He's like, "Do you know what my favorite German word is? Kugelschreiber." And I saw it in a full cinema, and they just all burst out laughing because they knew what it was, and I was like, "Oh, I don't know what it is." He goes on to explain what it is, but I was like, "Oh, I don't know what it is."
What's that mean?
Pen. He was just like. It's like it's so good that
quite
you've got
elaborate,
like such an elaborate word for just pen, which is good. But I hope that's what it's like for Isle of Dogs. But like all the sets and things just look incredible, and I think like
Is it the same animation studio that did
it is, yeah,
Fox?
Well, it's certainly the same
style.
animation style, is it? The same
yes,
studio?
yeah, it looks like exactly the same. And I think that fantastic Mr. Fox style. Like I know you're not actually that fond.
I don't
of
like
right?
it.
Yeah,
It's a little bit creepy, isn't it?
Well, it's just, I find Fantastic Mr. Fox to be an absolute prick, and I wish he'd be shot. So that's my main...
You're pro hunting.
I am in this case.
Of fantastic foxes.
Of fantastic foxes. Normal foxes are fine.
Mediocre ones. All right.
just not thieving ones.
Yeah, fuck. Little poaching.
But I think
You're
it
an
looks lovely.
elitist.
This also has like one of the maddest casts ever.
It's crazy.
Like every single person. Yoko Ono's in it, just popping up. But Bryan Cranston, Ed Norton's in it. Like he's been in a lot of them. I think Kirsten Wiig is like the main lady as well.
I think you're
with
right.
him.
It's hard to remember because the trailer doesn't show them in order. It just comes up with everyone's
Yeah.
names in
Poster
3
beautiful
columns.
as well, yeah.
Fucking hell, I keep hitting the pop shield. I'm so excited.
I'm super excited for this.
It's going to be good.
And that's why I think it's the best film 2018.
Heard it here first.
Is that what we're doing? I didn't realise we were talking about
It's
the best thing.
Are we,
don't know.
are we like Atticus Finching our way through
We
this?
do what we want. Daniel, what are you excited about film-wise?
So, Avengers Infinity War, the culmination of 18 movies and 10 years of filmmaking. That's what I was going to say, but I thought we've covered that quite a lot. And when I was researching this, I found another film that I thought existed. I wanted it to exist, but it didn't exist, but it does exist. It's called Soldado. It's called
Why is it about
Soldado.
the Spurs striker?
It is. It's not. No, actually, it's not about the ill-fated career of the Tottenham striker Roberto Soldado.
I love him.
7 goals in 52 games. It's not much of a return for 26 mil. It's about Soldado. It's the name of the character that Benicio del Toro plays in Sicario. He's getting his own movie.
What? Oh,
I
shit.
literally said on this podcast, if you wanted to make the best Splinter Cell movie in the world, you would just have him for an entire movie.
I'm more excited about
This
that
is ridiculous.
than a new Bond.
Okay, so
What?
this is out this summer. The trailer is dropping tomorrow.
no.
And
It's going to be like
Tomorrow-
Machete
tomorrow's
Lives.
in.
no, this is what you think. It's absolutely not. Story by Denis Villeneuve
Really?
and Tyler Sheridan writing the screenplay. Same dude who did original Sicario.
Yeah. Come on.
And it is him and Josh Brolin from Sicario. So basically, they find out the
How much money does Sicario make?
the cartel is smuggling terrorists into the US. So
Right.
they send Josh Brolin and Del Toro in to like stop the cartel.
Are they
Right.
turning famously downbeat movie Sicario into a fucking
Because
cool action film?
the end of Sicario, that bit where they like go to the cartel guy's like the boss's house and just like sneak their way in is
Yeah.
fucking brilliant.
Imagine if the trailer comes on tomorrow and it's like, he's the most ruthless assassin of
Yeah.
cartel men in the world, and he's got sandals on.
It's like, do you remember the most lethal assassin in the world from the last 15 minutes of Sicario?
Yeah, I like if he just like, we got to go back to Mexico. I never left.
No, the official.
Josh Brolin comes on, putting on his Hawaiian shirt.
It does have a little bit, like the official synopsis on Wikipedia. It does end something like going, and like Soldado still has a vendetta.
Oh, the whole point at the end of that film is that he's finished with his vendetta.
But I think it's like, what an amazing thing, because like Sicario, quite an awards-worthy movie, quite a refined movie.
It's hard work, Sicario. It's brilliant.
That's why I think that end bit's so good, because you're like, oh, that's quite exciting. But they're doing a whole movie just based on him. It reminds me of when they made US Marshals after The Fugitive. Yeah. And they were like, oh, everyone really likes Tommy Lee Jones.
What was the thing that everyone loved from The Fugitive?
Let's make a film about
the
him.
Marshals.
And everyone was like, no, everyone liked that bit when he just heard the train in the background.
Is it going to be another twist in this tale, and it's directed by Shane Black and set at Christmas? Because that would be brilliant.
And the last
if it
15 minutes is Emily Blunt comes back and does cool shit this time.
Yes, it is.
That'd be great.
Yes, it is.
I'm giddy.
But like, I was reading through, it's like, I wanted that to exist, and now it does.
And now it does.
It's probably been filmed already.
Are you sure this is real?
Yeah.
I may have made it up.
So there we go. Avengers Infinity War.
That'll keep you going until Soldado.
April here. So but that's coming out after Infinity War. It's taken them longer to make that than it has Infinity War.
I don't think that's correct.
Yeah, it is. Okay. TV shows, though, guys. Those are great. The one I'm most excited about, The Ballad of Buster Scruggs.
That sounds like something in the Beano.
Yeah. Actually, Buster Scruggs, I'll tell you what it is first. It's Coen Brothers doing a TV show, and not like how they executive produced the Fargo show, but actually
lazy.
Yeah, actually making this, like, written and directed and created by, and it's nothing is known about this other than it's an anthology Western miniseries. So it's 8 episodes, and it's all about this guy called Buster Scruggs, who's played by Tim Blake Nelson, and you've been watching that.
The Jeff Daniels one.
The what's it called thing? The Errol Morris documentary you've been watching.
Oh, Wormwood.
Yeah. And Tim Blake Nelson is genuinely really good in that.
Which one is he?
He's like the main dude.
That's Peter Sarsgaard.
No, like the main naughty dude.
Oh.
Yeah.
He is good.
Yeah, he is very good, isn't it?
You know, lad, sorry, this is a slight tangent.
Absolutely fine.
There's one bit of Westwood where
Wormwood,
where the guy from Westworld.
I was like, that is a tangent.
The guy, is it Jimmy from Westworld? Yeah, they're nice,
you gotta give me more.
Nice guy who hangs out with the lady in Westworld.
Fucking hell.
Guy with the weird face, he's in Always Sunny. Anyway, he turns up for one scene with a moustache and looks in a mirror and puts a hat on and leaves, and that's it.
Really?
He hasn't come back. It's really weird. I've only got one episode to go. Anyway.
What a
Tangent.
cameo.
That's good.
Tune in next year to find out if that's
the best.
realised. But yeah, I'm excited for them to do it because I really, really like the Western they did, which at the moment, True Grit. I thought True Grit is brilliant. And I think they're messing around in like a Western thing. Even to a lesser extent, like No Country for Old Men is technically a Western. Yeah. And I think that is probably the best film. And I think...
Who was this being made for? Do you know? Did we know?
No, actually, I don't.
I think it was being shopped. Like, so they just decided to make it and were like, well, we're the Coen brothers, we'll sell it to someone. Yeah.
It might see in my head. I'm really excited about it because I think they don't do anything unless they generally want to do it.
But we've watched some of their stuff that we. I think
we almost walked out of Hail Caesar. Like genuinely, legit, almost walked out of Hail Caesar.
I think it's because they're quite varied in what they do.
Yeah.
And they do like trying different things.
I mean, they are much better at drama than they are comedy.
Yeah.
And this sounds like a drama.
Yeah.
Except he's called Buster Scruggs.
Yeah.
The ballad, but it's just him like falling over, and there's a bit where he's sat on a toilet and the wall falls down on him.
Nick Cave comes out and plays a jaunty little Buster Scruggs.
Yeah.
But it does sound like
that's the ballad.
It does sound like it's kind of about like they do what they do very well is sort of finding comedy in downtrodden characters, and if Buster Scruggs isn't a downtrodden character. I don't know what
Imagine if he's like a wealthy landowner. He's just not got much to do.
He found oil.
Yeah. I'm interested in it being an anthology series about one person.
I'm not sure. I think basically the reason it's a mini series. It's a mini series, but each episode tells a different part of the story.
Right.
I think that's the way this
It's not like season 2 is
anthology.
going to be like the Ballad of John and Yoko.
No,
she's
no,
getting
no.
into acting.
It might not have. The thing, it might not even have a season 2. It might just be one thing where every episode in that is someone telling a story.
I'd love that.
Possibly about Buster Scruggs, which I kind of like the idea of like telling things from multiple perspectives as well, and then they all kind of like feed it in.
If it was
kind
like charting a life as well.
yeah,
that'd be
I
really
think that'd
cool.
be quite good. And yeah, I don't know about season 2 and stuff like that.
Without knowing anything, who do you want to play Buster Scruggs?
If I didn't know it was being played by Tim Blake Nelson.
Well, oh yeah, we already said it.
we literally just talked about
If it wasn't Tim Blake Nelson, who do you want it to be?
Oscar Isaac.
Perfect. Thank you.
Daniel, what are you excited about?
Castle Rock. This was announced ages ago with very little detail, apart from it was coming to Hulu and J.J. Abrams would be involved. This is like the shared universe drama based on all of Stephen King's novels.
Oh, awesome.
So we're
Like
now
Goosebumps.
Pretty much. So we're living in a generation now where the people who grew up reading Stephen King and being influenced him are like making a lot of things because they're in positions where they can make stuff like Stranger Things.
Yeah.
You know, so you're getting a lot of this style stuff. So, but this is going back to source. So in this playground in the city of Castle Rock, which some of the novels are set in, like apparently it's all fair game. I don't know how this works from a rights point of view, but you know, all these characters will somehow feed into a new narrative and it'll feed off them. But I was looking at the cast. The cast is really good. It's got Sissy Spacek in.
Good.
She's not playing Carrie.
What?
Well,
that's
you,
good,
you
though.
don't know she's not playing it though.
Oh, okay.
So she's in it. Scott Glenn, Terry O'Quinn,
Awesome.
and Bill Skarsgård apparently is
Yes,
in it.
please.
What's Terry O'Quinn been up to?
I don't know. Waiting for JJ.
I mean, yeah.
Scruggs, mate.
Wait, I'll tell you what.
Still on the Hawaiian Island.
He was fuming when he saw Snoke in Force
Yeah.
Awakens. He's like,
I love that.
I could have done that. Yeah, but Bill Skarsgård is apparently in it. Like, I don't think he's going to be playing Pennywise.
It's got to be.
But it's kind of cool casting.
Yeah.
Like in this weird meta way when you're doing this
Yeah.
meta show to cast people that are very well known for Stephen King adaptations to play new original characters.
So wait,
I really like that idea.
Is it going to be pulling characters from the Stephen King universe?
I think-
or
I think-
making up new ones that are like they could be in the Stephen King
No, I think it will be what I reckon my perspective is looking at the cast list and the names and the brief synopsis. It is new original characters. I think they're riffing off their previous roles as famous Stephen King characters. But I think other characters will factor in as supporting characters. So you might like have Wendy Torrance in one episode.
Doing what?
I don't know, just be mad.
Are we good?
Do you know what I was just thinking as you were saying this, and the only one it just occurred to me is as you may put it in a good way, which is like the people who grew up reading Stephen King are now in a position to make things. Like, I think it could be a actual worry that the people who are going to be watching it are going to be thinking it's derivative of
Absolutely.
the new thing rather than thinking. 'Cause remember when
Well, people said that about
Yeah.
Stranger Things.
Yeah.
So it's always like Stranger Things. It's like, whoa.
Yeah, I remember because I remember when it was the weekend the Stranger Things had come out, and we were filming Prepared to Try, and we said, "Oh, I'm liking the first series of Stranger Things because it feels a lot like Stand By Me." Paul was like, "No idea what that is." He was like, "Oh, it kind of feels a bit like it." He was like, oh, "I've never seen it." I'm just like, for people of a certain age, you're not going to have seen that thing, so you're going to watch the Castle Rock thing and go fucking just mobbing off Stranger Things, aren't they?
Basically, yeah, like it'd be interesting to see how much they weave in that other stuff. But like Stephen King's novels were, you know, before Marvel and so on,
Yeah.
you know, it is a shared universe.
Yeah.
It already exists. Like I remember when I was a kid, I read Tommy Knockers,
Yeah.
and there's a bit where someone scrolled on a wall, Pennywise lives.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that's cool. Ooh. And then, you know, it's a shame that like Dark Tower kind of failed miserably to do some of that stuff. But when we
Yeah.
first saw that trailer, it's kind of cool seeing these things that you know really well
Yeah.
share a similar fictional space.
Oh man!
and
I think we
if
saw
they're
the Dark
smart with
Tower
it-
trailer here. It was like early in the morning,
was
and
that
then
shot of the Overlook Hotel,
Yeah.
and then Pennywise's funfair.
Oh, yes,
But I think if they can like, I do think it's kind of show that would play into like Abrams and his kind of Motley Crue strengths. You know, they do that well, and in a world where lots of crazy shit already happens, that's maybe better. The kind of twists and turns are maybe easier to swallow than they were in some of his other
definitely.
stuff.
Yeah.
because you can just go, oh, it's big space turtle.
yeah.
If you can pull out big space turtle and that be a canonical answer, then you're fine.
And no
anything
one's
in.
annoyed by it.
No one's
Everyone
annoyed
just kind
by
of
it.
nods and goes,
Yeah, obviously.
Joe,
Hello.
TV is it?
Everyone else has gone with new and exciting things. I've gone with old and exciting things. Atlanta season 2 because
Yeah.
Atlanta is
Imagine if you said curry.
Corey. That'd be good. Season.
I still watch
See,
the
well, to be-
EastEnders Christmas special like every year. Like
This is the surprising thing. It's season 1 still.
Yeah.
Is it really?
It's never ended.
It's never ends.
Stop.
Has there ever been a break in like EastEnders, Coronation Street? I knew
Someone's
that.
died.
The war.
Yeah.
A lot of the cast did not return.
I still watch the EastEnders Christmas special because my niece is into it, and it's like she's like has like proper silence. It's like an actual TV show is happening in our house. We're just like, everyone shut up. If you don't want to watch it, go somewhere else. But I am watching this.
How old's your niece?
She's 16.
She's taking notes.
Yeah.
Does she write for TV Choice magazine? That's the only way I can understand enjoying those things.
I think people are into them, man. I went on a date like a couple of years ago with a girl who's like really into Coronation Street. Like, watch every single episode. And also, I think it's on every night now.
Yeah.
There's a lot of
It's
that.
a much
it's
more...
like watching wrestling.
It's a bigger time investment than like any Netflix binge.
Absolutely, yeah.
Liking that stuff.
But then they also hook you in as well because like they've hooked you in all your life. So you don't want to, if you give
Dip
it up,
out,
you give it up
yeah.
on like 19 years of watching it.
Because next time you tune in, Sally Webster's grown up, and I don't know what's happened in the intervening years.
I felt like that. But it took me ages to let go of Neighbours. Like, to properly stop watching Neighbours. And then, I mean, like, stop watching it, and then, well, first of all, stop watching the repeat that was on in the afternoon. I used to watch it twice a day. Then stop watching it, and then stop reading the synopsis as well, because I was still going through it. Just thought, well, if I want to come back, I can.
That's my flatmate's dad was obsessed with The Archers,
Yeah.
like full on, and he was round the other day, and he was like, "Oh, I had to give it up." Then we were like, and it was like 3 years. It was like 3 years
That was
later.
out of context conversation. We've had to give up Archers.
It was like
We're just going through too many a night.
he's gone mental. But he, well, also incidentally, he's lost loads of weight since he stopped watching it and listening to The Archers. So I'm assuming that's connected. There's a correlation. But anyway,
What was he doing? He just eating loads of meat while he was fucking
Every time he said Archers, he did a shot of
every time he heard the word Grundy, he stuck a Twix in. But he was mad because we were like, it's been 3 years, and he was like, "Oh, I listened to my first episode in ages on the way here," and we were like, "Oh, really? Isn't that weird? Like, you don't have any idea what was going on." It turns out he'd just been reading Wikipedia synopsis of The Archers for 3 years. It's like, that's surely, you just listen to it. Just
Yeah.
keep listening. Anyway, right, Emmerdale. That's what I'm going for.
Sorry, Atlanta season 2.
I'm going to make it really quick. Atlanta is one of the least talked about best shows that I've seen in the last few years.
Yeah.
And managed to straddle a line between like extremely weird, funny, surreal
Yeah.
comedy and like pretty heartbreaking drama, and do really odd one-off episodes
Yeah.
about completely different characters or in like strange settings, and it just played with the format constantly.
Yeah.
And then it just disappeared and no one was talking about it. And it's like,
Yeah.
this is weird. And then they bring it back in February. And I didn't realise it was that soon. And I'm super excited for it now.
Yeah.
And Donald Glover's a genius and could do no wrong.
I'm really excited. The main girl from Atlanta was cast in Deadpool.
Yes.
Too, and I think she's going to be incredible because she heard that episode that you're talking about where they just go, they spent all this time with these guys and then they just, one episode just follow her and her story, and that's one of the best episodes. Well, the club episode is the best episode.
Yeah.
One of the best episodes of TV of 2018. It's
What
so
episode?
good.
Of
It's called-
2018?
It's called In the Club.
in the club.
Yeah.
I've got all of Atlanta on my Sky Plus box.
Yeah. Watch
It
it.
is-
Honestly. It's
But
really
it is one of
good.
those ones where you should
Should
watch it all.
They'll
Don't
watch-
just watch one.
They watched the last 3 episodes, I think it was, on when we were flying to New York. The other,
you'd seen the preceding
man.
one?
No,
It's just
this is the only
they
3
were
that
just
he watched.
on.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
always hated
Oh,
when they
it's
do
weird,
that.
yeah, when
Yeah.
like, it's like, oh, we've got episode 3 of season 2, and that's
Yeah.
your lot.
I'm not watching season 2, episode 9 of House of Cards.
Isn't that
You're
mad?
Really?
It does feel mad because do they just not know how people watch TV and just like, well, imagine what low percentage of people happen to be on that episode when they get on the
Yeah.
plane.
Yeah.
Yeah, good.
What was that?
Great segue.
Alicia, I almost put this down as mine, so I'm excited to hear why you
Wavelength.
like Maniac. Yeah.
Yeah, so Maniac is a new kind of absurdist comedy that's coming to Netflix next year. And Maniac actually already exists as a TV series, but it's in Norway. It was released
That's
in
right, yeah,
2014. And basically it follows the story of a guy. He's called Espen in that one, and he...
Jim in this one.
Jim, exactly. He has this amazing life where he's just like, everything goes right, lives a high, loads of parties, and then it turns out he's actually in a mental asylum, and all the life that you're seeing is just in his own head. It's like the fantasy that he creates. So now Kerry Fukunaga, I'm definitely killing his name.
That's fine.
But he was the guy behind the first series of True Detective.
Yeah.
He did all pre-production of the new
It.
It.
Yeah.
He spent
Yes,
some
he did.
3 years of his life.
Yeah, he was going to direct
read
it
it?
as well.
I read
wasn't he?
really
some
good.
of it.
Yeah, so like he's got a really, really like great eye for cinematography, and like I'm really intrigued to see what he does with this series. But yeah, he's in charge of it, and he's cast Emma Stone and Jonah Hill. So I think Jonah Hill's going to be playing the lead, Jim.
Mental old Jim.
And it's a comedy.
And it's like an absurdist comedy. So it's essentially, I think Emma Stone is also playing an inmate.
Right.
And yeah, it's just about, I don't know how true they're going to stay to the story of the already existing series. They've not really released any specific details on how that plot's going to unfold, but
Is it about them trying to get better, or is it just...
I've literally no idea.
Making fun of them.
Literally no
Yeah,
idea.
Sounds like he's having a laugh.
it's a tricky thing to do, isn't it, I guess?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it's...
I thought it was going to be like a TV series version of that first-person Elijah Wood slasher movie.
Yeah.
I was like,
That's
oh my
full on,
God.
I mean.
I've heard it's horrible.
No, this one apparently is going to be quite funny. So
Fukunaga, I'm
if
not
it's
sure.
Emma Stone, she's pretty hilarious.
She does do naughty thing, not naughty, but like nasty, serious things as well.
Yeah, she can go from like in a minute from crying to mental.
Yeah.
I know,
Mental
is
in
there
a
a
good
trailer?
way.
I know, it's just, I love the idea that
think so.
it's
There's
like a
lots of
tee up of
pictures.
her
Yeah.
career.
Yeah,
Goes
'cause
from crying to mental in 1
a
minute.
minute.
That's how you get an Oscar.
Yeah.
Big time.
What did she win an Oscar for?
Lars
Mm.
Lands?
No, it was before that.
That'd be cool if that was the
She has
sequel.
won an Oscar.
She has, yeah.
Should have been
I remember, did
Easy
she
A.
trip?
Amazing Spider-Man.
Or am I thinking of
Easy A's
Jennifer
wicked.
Lawrence?
Yeah. What?
I think of Jennifer Lawrence. Sorry, guys. Ooh. Okay, so that's the best games, movie, and TV show. Oh, yes, we should say as well, Mainnet's coming to Netflix as well. So I guess it's going to
yeah.
be like all of it in one
Yeah.
go, which is good.
That's how they release on Netflix.
Yeah. But no, I'm excited to see like another comedy to do, because there's a lot of good comedies that come to Netflix, and I really enjoy watching comedies a lot at the same time, and I didn't think that I would.
Yeah, totally.
Except like Love, like I think really benefits from that. I think if I was week by week, I would stop watching that.
Yeah, because they're
But-
so annoying.
Yeah.
But when there's more of it, you
But
can
when
be
it's-
annoyed by them
it's
all in one go.
you give it more of a chance, I think.
Yeah.
Whereas if you've got a week to think about what they've done.
I watched all of Master of None 2 seasons in a sitting.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think Cardi did that as well,
really
didn't he?
good.
Yeah. But that's not coming back in 2018. How look? He's not even making it at the moment.
Good.
Yeah.
Leave it alone.
There we are. So those are the best TV shows, movies, and games. So a lot of that is stuff that we haven't played or really seen anything of, but we get to see and play a lot of stuff before anyone.
This is the showing off section.
It's the showing off section.
Joe's doing Red Dead.
I remember actually, like, one of the things that I used to love about Tilly is when people were doing like their top 10s of the year films, Tilly would get like outrageously angry with journalists who would put films that were released in the UK the following year in their top 10 list for the year before.
Because they've seen it at a festival.
Because they've seen it at a festival, or they've seen it at like an
screening.
early screening. Because like we've been offered screenings for some big things. Like you've seen 3 Billboards, that I think is going to be probably one of my favorite films of next year. But I think he used to get so like incensed when he would see like a journalist put it on, because he used to think they were just showing off. So this is our showing off section.
Ace.
Here we go. So these are things that we know is definitely excellent and cool section.
You right, mate?
No, not really. It's the end of the year, isn't it?
It's the
No, it's
beginning
the
of a new
start
one.
of a new one.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Keep up the fiction.
Well, I can't hear out of this ear. I'm all over the place. My balance is like genuinely off to the point where it's just like I almost fell over on the way to work.
I did wonder why every time I was talking to you, you're just going, cool.
When I was doing the Star Wars thing with Al earlier, this is why I kind of positioned myself here as kind of a little bit better. But when I was sitting where Alicia was for the Star Wars podcast, and every time Al talked, I did like basically like turn to look at him.
Oh, like a grandpa.
It's
It's like
this
ear
thing.
trumpet.
Yeah. But there we are. So one thing that I've seen and Krupa's seen that is definitely cool is a film called Ghost Stories. Ghost Stories was a play, started off in Hammersmith, then went to the West End for ages. I think they did go to America as well.
Really?
Yeah. So
Lovely.
it's a theatre show, anthology setup. So you basically have like 3 stories that are kind of connected throughout it. And it was done by Andy Nyman, who, if you know who Darren Brown is his ingénieur. So he comes up with all the clever stuff behind Darren Brown stuff. And Jeremy Dyson, who wrote a lot of awesome stuff, including The League of Gentlemen, which we love. And when I first saw they were making a film of this, because I've seen the play a lot, I didn't really know how they could make it work. And I thought, if kind of not unworkable, but if they can make Les Mis work, they can make ghost stories work. But it is kind of, you forget how filmic it actually is, because it's like it's a show where you go and it's 90 minutes, no interval. So like that is filmic as it goes. But the way that they've made it work is brilliant. I think the setup, the thing that ties it together, it really, really works.
I think it's the thing they've majorly reworked. And I think it's why it's key that they haven't just sold the rights and someone else has adapted it. They've been involved in the adaptation of it. And in the theatre, it's like Andy Nyman, when I saw it, played like a paranormal investigator professor, academic. So he's like delivering a lecture to the audience. And through his lecture, you get these cutaways that become the inset narratives. Whereas this, they completely scrapped that, and the framing narrative, it still has the professor, but it's totally redone. And I think that works really, really well. I also think it's like deeply cinematic. Absolutely. Like it shows you like these 2 guys met at a Jewish summer camp when they were kids and became best friends, and they bonded over like monster magazines and horror stories and ghost stories. And they obviously have a love of like old horror movies where it's not necessarily something jumping out of frame into frame. It's like something in the back of frame that looks weird. And it looks like one thing, and then they'll go investigate, and it'll be like there's one moment where you and I were like, don't go near that. And there's also really like subtle stuff, and there's full on mental stuff. Like it really gets in your face, and it is visceral. And
was it the sort of thing that when you saw it afterwards, you were like turning out your bedroom light at night, being like,
I never really get like that, but.
Do you know what? When the first time that I saw the play, it definitely was, because it kind of plays you put a lot of your trust in what you're seeing. So there's a guy, and you feel safer because there's a man telling you a story, and you feel like, well, it's not real because the man is telling me the story. But then you get drawn into the world, and then they know exactly that is happening as well, and they really fuck with you, and that does happen a lot in the film.
Well, this is recurring line that the professor says, like. To kind of explain away the paranormal. He says the mind sees what it wants to see. And that's brilliant on film, where a director can control what you think you're seeing a lot of the time. And I love some of the stuff they do with that, like things just in edge of frame. So good.
The play obviously had like a massive deal about don't ruin the secret of it. And having never seen the play, I don't know what that secret is. Does the film... Is it the same thing it's concealing?
Yes. It builds towards a similar place.
Cool.
But I wouldn't go in thinking that it's going to be this mad, like, Sixth Sense style thing, because it's not.
Well, that's. I know that it's like more nuanced and.
We said this afterwards. I think it's a film that would like really. It would be cool to see again. Like little details and stuff.
Because it was things when we came out, like you saw and I saw, and then we hadn't
see some of them.
It's really good. There's
also one bit where I was like nudging you, going, "Look up in that corner." It's just like you didn't see it.
Is it going to be big? Is it going to be released wide?
Well, it's got Martin Freeman in it, so that's in the UK, I feel like they're going to lean into that.
Okay.
It's kind of a weird time. It's coming out in April.
Because you usually like stick these out in like February.
In a wintry, dark month.
What's it about? It's about put it at Easter.
For
little kiddies.
I hope it does, because it is a really, really good film, and like
I'd love to be able to like them to do more. Stuff like that.
Because they've obviously just got like, if you see like all the stuff that they do, even like we saw the new League of Gentlemen the other day, like they're such clever people, and they know how to do this, because it's quite funny as well. Ghost Stories was, there's some genuinely like funny moments in it,
and like seeing like Jeremy Dyson through League of Gentlemen as well, like real advocates of like old British horror, and specifically that format of like portmanteau, where it's like mini narratives building towards a bigger thing, which they did in the League of Gentlemen Christmas special, and that's what this is. And there's been some shonky ones in recent years, and one or two good ones, but not that many in general. Like Trick or Treat's pretty good, and there's got a bit of a cult following. But it'd be amazing if this was good and that became like kind of a semi-revival. And the same with the Black Mirror has kind of brought Twilight Zone back. Like, that's kind of cool. I'd love to see more of that stuff just because it's the stuff I'm really into.
Yeah.
Now they're making more Twilight Zone.
Yeah.
Jordan Peele.
Yeah.
That's good, isn't it?
That is good. Alicia, what is the thing that you know is definitely excellent and cool?
I've been playing Monster Hunter World.
Shit.
Which people listening to this podcast might have played the beta that came out at the end of last year. But I'm like
nice.
doing all these temporal jumps in my mind to keep up the illusion.
So you're doing it better than I am, so it's fine.
And so Monster Hunter...
On this December afternoon.
On this, the 18th of... Oh, fucking hell.
But yeah, I've not played, unlike Joe, I've not played loads of the Monster Hunter DS games. The only Monster Hunter game that I played was the Let's Play that I did with you, Joe.
Generations.
Yeah, exactly. When I joined IGN. So it's not like a series that I've sunk a load of time into, but I've been playing the main game that's releasing on PlayStation 4. And it's really fun. It's like... They've created, it's like if you're into open world games, it's just this really beautiful, lush expanse with like this incredibly intricate ecosystem. And that's been like a real pleasure to explore. The one thing that I would say as someone who's not used to the series, the UI is just insane. Like there is so much for you to learn and figure out and understand. And like the way that the tutorial system, they just give you like big walls of text and expect you to immediately internalize it. And if you're familiar with like what certain items are or the notion of certain types of weapons, because you have like, is it 16 different 14 different types of weapons. If you know like what those are already, then you're like, okay, I can understand and get on board with this. But there's just so much information thrown at you in the first hour of play. It was actually genuinely quite useful just to have a notepad and note down little bits and pieces. And then once you know it, it's like muscle memory. But the actual preparing for a hunt, tracking down the monster, finding it through the wilderness, like swinging from like branch to branch, and like that's really fun.
What's your favourite thing you've done in it?
There's a really, really cool monster who people will know from the beta called the Pookie Pookie.
The Pookie Pookie.
The Pookie Pookie, which is just really fun to say. And that
Doesn't sound very scary.
Pookie Pookie.
He doesn't look it.
Does
Then
it
he
not?
spits poison in your face.
Yeah,
And that's kill him, is it?
Yeah.
You're going out tooled up to the teeth, and he's defending himself.
I hate fantastic foxes and I hate
Pookie Pookies.
monsters.
But the best thing about the Pookie Pookie is there's a big monster called the Angerath who also really doesn't like a Pookie Pookie. And I was chasing the Pookie Pookie, threw it into another area, and the Angerath just went... And that was the end of the Pookie Pookie, and I was like, well, great.
Really?
Always a bigger fish.
That's the reason why I just waited until the Angerath was done, and then I went in and I sliced off a bit of that, and yeah, I was quite happy.
That is the most exciting thing about this one, is that there's always been multiple monsters in areas in Monster Hunter World. But firstly, they were always zoned off, so the chances of them coming across each other, or like the expectation that they might, the idea that you could drive one towards another, was never really there. And also the AI wasn't good enough. It just couldn't handle the fact that they could interact properly.
Totally.
Whereas in this one, it becomes part of your tactics. Like there were times when we were playing in Japan, like luring a monster into an area that we knew another monster was in
to make them
and
attack.
just watching them fight, so it weakens it. So you take him into a swamp, and this fucking swamp monster like spins up like boa constrictors him, chucks him to the floor, and you're just like, this is fucking wicked. And it was you that did it, which is the most exciting thing.
There's because like the slingshot, you have like this little basically a Dennis the Menace style like slingshot that you run around with, and like it does like 1 damage or 2 damage if you do it at a monster. But if you like hide in a bush and just do like a slingshot at it, and then like duck down into the bush, and the monster's like, who did that? And then turns around and goes, it was you, staring down like this massive Triceratops style thing, and they have this massive fight, and you're there like. It's great.
Have you been playing multiplayer?
Yes. Cool. And multiplayer is really fun. And actually, they've changed it up in this game. So matchmaking is like super, super easy. But yeah, we've been playing it in the office. And I think in fairness, we've had a bit of an unfair experience because we've just had 3 PlayStations lined up next to each other with like 3 screens. So it's felt like couch co-op, which is really fun in Monster Hunter when you're like going up against a really, really difficult foe. But and you have like your little palicos and stuff with you as well, who are just adorable and amazing. And I think I need to put some even more hours into it to really get my head around the nuances, because I feel like there's so much that I'm missing at the moment. Like, even though I've already put loads of hours in.
The kind of common thing about Monster Hunter is you play 200 hours and then you learn something new.
Yeah.
And like, it's fucking amazing.
Totally.
Like, I played, I used one weapon for 100 hours once and then found out there was an extra bit of a combo that I'd never seen before. And it completely changed how I play the game.
Well, like, this is the thing.
And it's incredible.
I've put in like 18 hours and I've been using dual blades like the whole time. And then was finally like, okay, I might go and try the insect glaive. And now I'm like, why did I ever use anything else?
It's so good.
Like,
and it's a different game
Yeah,
at that
completely.
point. Like, it's fucking brilliant. I'm slightly worried that the fact that they've put on a second beta is because not enough people played the first one.
they were always planning
Were they?
to.
Okay,
yeah,
that's good.
They were
I think
always
the
planning
first
to.
one's pretty did well. I think.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, it's genuinely done really well. They've just been planning. I think they are quite worried that because it's so, for beginners, it's like a big thing to bite off. And so I think with the betas, they're trying to prove to people. So they've had this really long phase of doing like so many betas.
They're doing the pookie chunks.
Exactly.
Anjanath is January's drop.
Exactly.
Also, they must be shitting as well because they just are not going to have a lot of Japanese people playing it because they're not going to release it on like a handheld.
Yeah, which is a giant portion
And
of
then
that
it's
market.
gone then, and they're just like, shit, that's massive.
It is really big.
That's kind of what they're wanting, though, isn't it? In a way, like it seems like they're trying to say, "Hey, let's open this up to Western markets."
Oh, yeah,
in a way.
absolutely.
Like,
And
they're
Sony
not too
will have
fussed.
wanted it to be on PS4. I know it's not just on PS4, but they wanted it to be on there so that everyone in Japan who loves Monster Hunter is like, guess I better buy a PS4 there.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Krupa, what's a thing that you know is definitely excellent and cool?
Is Far Cry 5, because I played it the other night for 2 hours and it was very good. I've played it before as well. When they released those initial teaser trailers for it, it seemed quite somber and quite serious because people were getting murdered in quite brutal surroundings and in brutal style, like executed from like in rivers and drowned. We played it the other day and it's still just bonkers.
It's one of the stupidest previews I've ever done.
It's really bonkers. Like me and Joe were playing some of the co-op and we were just in a helicopter. We were trying to go as high as we possibly could. We wingsuit down into a petrol station that was an outpost and blew everything up. Then we died, so we got a big truck and just rammed everyone.
Yeah.
And it was brilliant.
I think the most telling single mechanic in that game is that when you fast travel somewhere, you can either appear there like normal fast travel or wingsuit in, like every single time, no cost. It's just like, oh, do you want to drop from the sky? Yeah, absolutely, go for it.
Yes.
It's amazing.
Every time, always the same.
What a lovely idea.
But also, you did a mission that I
God,
didn't see that I think kind of makes this point more eloquently than my story about wingsuits.
There's a mission where you help out a man, I think he's called Casey, and his whole interest in the midst of this giant, horrible takeover by a religious cult.
Yeah.
So he really wants to put on that year's Testy Festy. And Testy Festy is where people eat Blue Mountain oysters, which are bull's testicles. And so the entire quest line is first getting all the stuff he needs to put on the Testy Festy, the tents and the barbecues and stuff.
I love that you're doing this in the midst of this. Like, it's my first day on the job. I thought I need to help out.
Then you go and he's like, right, normal testicles aren't going to do. People need something to like live up to this time of
They're having a
need.
tough time,
Yeah,
Dinosaur
Wait, people want to eat these?
Yeah, it's a tradition.
it's
In the
tradition.
area, it's like an annual
Okay.
thing
Testy
that the
Festy.
cult's kind of fucked up.
Yeah, and then so there's this one mission where you've got to collect 3 different types, newly cooked types of bull's testicles.
Okay.
So one, you need them minced. So you get a tractor with a big like plow on the front and just run over a
That's
bull.
one way to do it.
You need them seared, so you just set a cow on fire. And the third one, the best of them all, is blue, which is you set free a load of female cows into a bull's pen.
Oh, this is disgusting.
It starts playing Marvin Gaye's Sexual Healing on the soundtrack. You watch them have sex, and then you kill the cow that's had sex and take its testicles off and then bring them to this man.
See, when you said blue, I realised what it was, and you were blue balling the cows, but you wouldn't let them have sex, surely.
Well, I
They'd just
think
be
maybe
empty
not.
balls.
This is the problem.
Like,
It's just they wanted to include the animation.
Oh, right.
Right, okay.
Can you imagine being the devs?
Because the alternative is like a rousing one.
The idea is
Yeah.
that you should kill them mid-sex.
Right, okay.
But it would be so annoying if you had to do that it just lets you go, all right, kill them afterwards. It's fine.
Yeah. Well,
I know.
that's wrong.
But then you bring it back to Casey.
yeah.
He puts on the Testy Festy. He's like, do you want to join in? You go, yeah. And the next bit is a cutscene where you're drunk trying to fire a slingshot at balloons. And then you just wake up next to a load of pigs in party hats. And it is fucking brilliant. It's
sounds-
really funny.
There you go. That's Far Cry's take on religious
Well,
cults.
and they
That's
license
the thing.
sexual healing for that
Yeah.
scene.
Yeah.
That's
I love that.
amazing.
That's quite good.
That's spenny, isn't it?
That is
Like,
big
that's
time
costing you.
bunts.
So that's the thing though, because like the guy when we saw him the other day, I think was it the other day or maybe I saw an interview or read an interview or something like that, where it's like they've been criticised for not taking into account like all the horrible stuff that's going on in real America right now. It was like
Really?
it would feel kind of cheap if you were doing that and like trying to be real about like the state of the government and things like that, but also trying to have testy festy at the same time.
And it's still making something of a point.
Yeah.
Like, I'm totally fine with it doing what it's doing.
It sounds like they've got a bit of both, because I went to a talk by the creative director at Ubisoft Montreal who worked on Far Cry 5, Dan Hay, and he was talking
Oh, that's
about...
where he did that pitch thing for his new game, Yarn.
Yeah,
That was
which
good.
which was really good. And he was talking about his influences and the reasons why he's made Far Cry 5. And he took growing up in 1980s America and this feeling of being on a cliff edge of like, as a child, seeing all these news stories about like nuclear war and like nuclear threat and like big governmental like machinations and like feeling like something terrible was going to happen and having no control over it. And then like feeling that feeling come around now and like everything that we're seeing in politics and the world stage. And he was like, I just want to capture the idea of separatism of like, and like isolationism and put it into a small rural town in America through the lens of a religious cult and see what happens. So like my take on it from hearing that talk was that dealing with some pretty big themes there. It was going to be pretty serious. And I think, you know, having something like Testy Festy just also makes it kind of fun.
Yeah.
Like you need a bit of light and shade. It's like the two comic
the best
masks.
way to overthrow a dictatorship is to feed the proletariat testicles.
Testicles.
I think Engels said that.
That's definitely
Yeah,
Engels.
yeah, classic. Well read.
That's what everyone like had in Manchester, just balls. But that's the thing is like, I think the worst kind of like, this goes for any fiction or like literature, games or anything. Like if you're going to make a contemporary point, you date the fuck out of your thing immediately. Like the best artists just like echo the real world. Like the really crude ones go, this is what this is. This is what this character represents. That's such a crude way of doing it.
Yeah.
And that's the best way. It's like, yeah, of course it's going to draw on that because he's making it. And I think that's the best way to like communicate those things.
But then, as we've learned from the Purge film, sometimes it's better to be on the nose.
Had to stop myself putting the new Purge film in the film section. Purge the Island, prequel to the original.
Yes, how it all started.
All
It's
about my dad.
Yeah, it's basically but the Purge, new Purge is basically like how they tested whether or not they could do the Purge.
Fuck it
Thing is,
now.
obviously it's going to go wrong.
The TV show?
No, there's a new Purge film.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we saw this.
Yeah, but they didn't show us any footage of it. It's not ready yet.
They've not-
They
they've not
showed us
filmed
bits of
it.
Jurassic World, but not the new Purge.
I love The Purge. I've never watched a single one of the movies.
Have you seen it not?
I've never watched one. I just
is-
think the idea is so funny.
Yeah, but also
I'm into it.
This prequel doesn't make any sense because they're like, because basically they tested the Purge on Liberty Island to see how it would go. Like
On Liberty
no,
Island.
like no one lives there.
Like there's 2 security guards.
Yeah, and then to see how it goes.
Yeah, we've got masks.
But
though.
also as well, for that to work, for the film to work and not be boring, it has to go wrong.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, so
at
then
what
the
point?
test.
At what point are they going? Oh, it really went tits up. Do you know what this could do with?
Define
Release
wrong.
it into everybody else. Like, let's make this wide. We'll make it a wide test. Yeah. Anyway,
I think
Purge.
like I do want them to do the Purge in Britain one day.
Oh, absolutely. Come on, be good.
No, I mean, the way you said that kind of suggests in
not
real
film.
life.
No film. Right?
Yeah,
Any other business section.
What if Scrabble Senior at his way? But he'll be over it soon.
That's my prediction for 2018.
Joe.
Hello.
Except for the Purge. What is the thing that you know that's definitely excellent and cool?
Sea of Thieves.
Ooh.
We've talked about Sea of Thieves loads, so we don't need to talk about it too much. It's just a reminder that it's coming out and it's definitely real.
Yeah.
And it's really soon. It's like March. That's crazy. So like 3 years on, we've had these questions all the way through of like, what's this going to be? How's it going to work out? How are we going to play for hours and hours?
Yeah.
And Rare have been really good about just answering every single one of those questions every time they turn up.
Yeah.
And like most recently, they went through the progression systems and how that's all going to work. And now we're just staring down the barrel of the blunderbuss of Sea of Thieves actually coming out. And I can't believe it's actually living up to everything I've thought it could be. And having played it along the way going, yeah, this is legit one of the funniest games I've played for a long time. And just, God, I can't wait to have it in the office and have all of us
I
play it.
I still haven't played it at all. I'm so excited to play it.
That's mad.
Yeah.
I've got to.
Sorry. I mean, I've got a question about it of how much of
Testes.
how many testicles
What's the
are in
land-water
it?
ratio?
What are we talking?
How much of it, when you're going and traveling around, how much of what you do is generated by you and the players and the crew that you've got, and how much of it is generated by the game? Because I wonder whether it's one of those games that it's as fun as the people you have playing with you.
I think there's that, but it's also the mechanics themselves are often so simple that it's people not doing them that makes for fun. So it's like,
Right.
you know, you'll be on a boat with a load of people and you'll be sailing towards a rock, and the person who was on, because you're always short-handed, that's the point of the game. So there's the person who's been on the wheel has kind of been proactive and been like, oh, I'm just going to go downstairs and check the map. And so you're sailing towards this island, and suddenly you'll be like, who's on the wheel? Shit, and the wind picks up and your boat starts going into, and then there's this scramble for everyone, and someone's like accidentally dropping the anchor, and someone's like turning the sails the wrong way, and you just have this like fucking like mad dash to get everything right. So it's things going, the game really is when you're fucking up, not when you're doing well.
So it sounds like the game is more like when you're sailing the ship, but like, what is it? Just going basically from treasure hunt to treasure hunt, like just island to island finding buried treasure?
They've been a bit like coy about how deep that's going to go. So the demos we've played have always been side missions, which are treasure hunts, which are either based on maps where you have to like look at the map, compare it to like a major world map, find out where you're going, chart a course. Like it doesn't do any objective markers for you,
Right.
or riddles. So it will tell you apparently procedurally generated rhyming riddles.
What?
That's pretty hard to do.
Yeah, and then
Yeah, it's going to be another 2 years.
yeah.
We're committed to
That's why.
The riddle engine
trying
keeps
to-
breaking.
Yeah, we can't script
It
Shakespeare.
keeps breaking its own mind.
Keeps telling dirty limericks and we don't understand why.
No, the poems are fine. They just don't exist in the game.
Yeah. But yeah, as soon as you read this riddle, it creates a treasure chest for you to go and find, and then you go there. So the idea is that you'll constantly get these side quests, but then there are like Destiny-style main missions that will pepper the world, and you've got to go and do. We don't know what that's going to be exactly, but like the actual like start to end of, hey, I've got this riddle. Let's work out where that is. Let's get there. Let's get the treasure off that island without being killed, and then get it back without being stolen from. Is wicked, because it's constantly giving you distractions. So it'll be like, oh, I've never seen that island before, or shit, there's another ship coming towards us, or like in our case, we got distracted because we went past a tiny island with a load of skeletons on it. We were like, we've got to kill all those skeletons, even though we didn't need to. And so we all get
Even
on
though they're
cannons and like,
dead.
just
Like
fire
pest
them.
control.
Yeah, just, banish them.
Yeah.
Just shoot them with our cannons and stuff. And it's constantly providing little distractions, which I think is the best thing in
think
open world.
I'm pretty sold on it. I do want to see a Kraken.
And there will be a Kraken.
I want to see it. Bring me
They
the
keep
Kraken.
teasing Krakens.
Bring me the
Is that going to be
Kraken.
like the Crucible? Like that's what their Crucible is going to be, like the mad, like huge thing that everyone goes for.
I think there's going to be like raid style
Okay.
moments where it's just like, right, this fucking world-ending monster is
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
Go kill it. That would be wicked.
that would be really good.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Awesome. Those are the things we know that are definitely excellent and cool. So these are other things we've just put up.
AOB.
So yeah, we're going to rattle through these and then make some predictions. So the one thing that I'm really excited about is to get more on the Disney acquisition of like Fox, so we can like maybe get some details on like in
What you
the
doing?
Marvel Universe.
Yeah.
They're called Mighty Marvel Team Up. It's basically Spider-Man hanging out with someone every issue. I think it's like there's like hundreds of issues, and I read today, I didn't even realize this, but I used to read a lot. It's only 10 issues that have never had Spider-Man in it. So it's basically like Spider-Man and someone teaming up. But I
Yeah, it's
think
like, how can we make the other characters popular?
put him with Spider-Man.
Make him friends with Spider-Man.
But yeah, now that like Disney own all the cool Fox stuff, I hope this year we get like a really good announcement about just like little one-off things, like kind of like what they're doing with the Star Wars universe, where they're just like, they're just going to do like one little story going on over here. I hope that they do that.
I wonder if it'll become like because they got
its own thing.
They got Spider-Man back. No, they've got Spider-Man back in, and that
Yeah.
kind of gives another brilliant character to add into the mix.
Yeah.
Suddenly you've got a whole other set of characters that you can do the next phase with.
Yeah.
Like in a way that Fox can never spend the amount of time setting up all the cosmic stuff to make Silver Surfer make sense or Fantastic Four really work.
Yeah.
And then once Thanos is done, you've got literally one of the best Marvel villains ever, Doctor Doom, back.
Yeah.
One of the best
In the fold.
pseudo-Latvians.
Pseudo.
I feel like coming very, very soon is going to be like the Marvel Max like announcement. So like Marvel Max was like the naughty stuff.
Yeah, because he said
Like,
that about
Punisher was
Deadpool.
on-
Yeah, Bob Iger said that. It's like we could brand it differently.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Because they want to keep Deadpool
Yeah.
R-rated and
yeah,
that kind of
So I
stuff.
feel like with that, it's going to be like Marvel. They're going to do a Marvel Max. So that's what they did in the comics, and then you knew then that buying a Marvel Max,
That's that tone.
Like they couldn't sell them to under 16s and things like that. So I think do that.
So what have we got to get through? X-Men Dark Phoenix, New
Yeah.
Mutants, Deadpool 2.
That's it.
Is that
Yeah.
it?
I think that's like there's X-Force in the works.
And we'll presumably hear a
probably
load
will.
of stuff getting cancelled,
yeah, always.
and then they'll move on. It does make me worried that Spider-Man's definitely going to go back to Sony, because Sony will just be like, stop taking over everyone,
Yeah.
like trying to protect their property a bit. Like after Homecoming 2, I bet he's not there anymore.
I remember when you were saying doing like Marvel team ups. I remember in the comics they do these things called What If.
Yes.
Imagine if they did that. It's like, oh, what if Spider-Man was the Punisher?
Yeah.
Like
That's
mad
good.
stuff like that. One shots where it's like,
They are doing a Spider-Verse
movie. Yeah,
this year,
actually,
next
yeah.
year, aren't
The
they?
animation style looks really cool on that.
really does.
And also through that they can like do Gwen Stacy Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Spider-Ham.
What if
Peter
was really
Porker.
good?
Yeah.
He'll definitely be it.
He's got to be. He's amazing.
The what if stuff is really good, but then obviously some of it was just really sad. I remember like there was one that was just like for Daredevil, and I loved it. I was like, what if Karen Page hadn't died?
Oh, no.
It's just like one issue. You're not tackling all that in
One issue. He's just really happy.
Yeah.
He's just a lawyer.
He's not Daredevil.
He's wicked. They've got kids who are really happy.
I'd read that.
Yeah.
Sounds
Do you know
lovely.
they did an Indian Spider-Man? He's called like Peter
Yeah.
Patel or something like that. And they did it for 4 issues, and then I think someone went,
Get rid,
yeah, there's a lot of this isn't good.
Yeah. It's good covers.
Stop
on that,
this.
though. I
Stop
remember
this
that
now.
the covers on that were amazing.
Really?
Yeah. Croops, you're excited for Return of the Zack.
Yeah. Well,
Nice.
I think 2018 is going to finally be the year that Michael Zaki pulls his finger out.
Yeah.
And we just got that teaser trailer the other day that a lot of people thought instantly was Bloodborne 2.
It's not, though, is it?
I don't think it is. But so here's my theory on this.
Okay.
I think if you put that image out,
Yes.
people will automatically assume it is Bloodborne.
Yes.
It's such a Bloodborne image. You've got literally a weapon soaked in blood, which is a thing you do in the game to make them more powerful, to buff them.
Yeah.
But it's got so much Eastern stuff in it. Now, there is an Eastern character in the Bloodborne Old Hunters DLC, but that's not enough. So I think that is going to be like a new IP.
Right.
Or Tenchu.
Or Tenchu.
not
But
gonna
my
be
point
Tenchu.
is, it's like, it's such a provocative image to put out a Bloodborne 2 style image and not deliver Bloodborne 2. So my theory is both exist.
I think that's wishful.
That's why I'm saying he's not being lazy this year. He's going to do 2 games.
He's not.
They're going to be announced. He's going
not
to
gonna-
oversee.
He barely likes doing one.
He's not going to make.
I'm not saying he's giving it all. Yeah.
He's not.
He's having people on him.
Zaki's not making that Asian game, and I bet he's making Armored Core. That's it.
He does any interview you like hear with him, he does genuinely love Armored Core.
Armored Core's fucking
Like,
wicked. That's
but
why.
he talks about it like
That's
with
what that trailer is.
like a love.
That'd be jokes.
That would be good if he did that.
Bone mechs.
That's what we are.
We are bone
We
mechs.
are bone mechs when you think about it.
shit.
When you think about it, we're all underneath bone mechs.
I'm now that gif of Eric Wareheim.
But I'm telling you, 2
Yeah.
From games.
Alicia, what is the other thing that you're excited about?
I'm really excited for GDC,
Shit.
Game Developer Conference in San Francisco, which is just, I think particularly because 2017 was such a good year for games, and 2018 GDC will be the one where all of the developers, like all the AAA games, kind of head over and they do talks, and they kind of say, well, this is actually all the lessons that we learned from this particular game or this particular franchise, or this is like a really risky decision that we made, like this is our post-mort on it. And like it's my favorite conference anyway, just because it's a bunch of developers. It's like the whole games industry comes together and just kind of like rub shoulders, and I think you get some really, it's like bees and pollination, you get some really, really interesting ideas kind of disseminating.
It's also where all the best leaks happen.
Well, exactly, wasn't it? Didn't
PS4 Pro.
PS4 Pro leaked?
Yeah,
because
Keza McDonald was in a queue with 2 developers who were like, have you heard about the PS4 Pro?
yeah, have you got your dev kit yet? And blah, blah, and she was like, hello.
It's ridiculous.
Turned on the dictaphone subtly.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, like, you know, it's really, really fun as a member of the video games media, because normally when we go to like E3 and stuff, it's all this big marketing machine and everything's been really nicely spun. Whereas this isn't. This is like for developers, so people are kind of slightly less guarded, and you get to kind of know the real trends, like really what's going on underneath the surface. Like, I think it'll be really fun, and yeah, I'm just looking forward to seeing kind of what stuff comes out of it.
Also, there was a game there once where you could put your hand. I think you put your face in, and you were a dog, and you got to smell other dogs' bums. I've never seen that anywhere except for GDC.
Yeah, so that's because after GDC, it comes back to the marketing meeting, and they go, we can't sell $100 bum peripheral. People won't barely buy VR headsets.
Couldn't like Steel Battalion work? Fucking bum sniffer.
Was it a Pug game, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was Pugs. Yeah.
That would have been right up your street.
Not even with Pugs you couldn't sell that.
Yeah.
And they can sell anything.
That's true.
That's why Vodafone got them in.
Joe, this is Blank, your other thing.
Got it. Don't worry.
Here we go.
Let me have a look. It's a book. And the book is called The Unmapped Mind, a memoir of neurology, incurable disease, and learning how to live. And it's by my friend and yours, Christian Donlan, i.e. the best video games writer in the industry, and a genuinely nice man. He's releasing this book about his diagnosis with multiple sclerosis, and at the same time having a daughter, and charting the path of watching. I'm probably doing it down. He'll sell this way better, but it's basically about watching his daughter grow up and his body deteriorate, and trying to kind of map how that works between the two of them. And also it's just Christian Nolan going into amazing tangents about everything he knows, which is everything. I think it's going to be an incredible book. And also the selfish reason for me bringing this up is I'm in it. Because I said a nice thing about him once and he put it in the book. So you should buy it for me.
Kind of like a movie though. It's like, I will be playing Christian.
Yeah. But it will just be an amazing book, and it comes out in April. And also it goes towards one of the nicest men in the biz.
Boom. Cool. I read a bit of. I think it's just on Amazon. Like the bit I read was like that. A tiny bit made me really laugh.
Yeah, like, he's incredible.
So let's move on finally to our predictions / wishes. Brackets can be something utterly mental. Krupa.
So Disney bought Fox.
They did.
Alien Covenant came out last year.
Yeah.
And Ridley Scott made loads of weird ancient civilization stuff, a lot of like weird alien archaeology that needs unpacking. Who can unpack that? Indiana Jones, get him in, sorts it out.
Boom.
There you go.
What's that?
Just drop him in. Yeah. And also it's Bradley Cooper. Playing the role of the alien.
I watched that Spielberg documentary recently.
Oh, it's supposed to be really good.
Very good, yeah. They kind of... they
gloss over King of the Crystal Skull.
Gloss over Crystal Skull.
You've done a full hour on Schindler's List here.
I'll be honest with you, though. Too much Schindler's List in there. I'm just saying.
It's always going to be.
There's so much Schindler's List in it, and then Jurassic Park is directly after Schindler's List. Jurassic Park is maybe about 6 minutes of that documentary.
Short
shrift. That's a really interesting story that he was doing post while he was doing pre.
Yeah.
And put it on Jurassic Park. So he's supervising very sensitive scenes about the Holocaust. Yeah. And someone's coming going, like, they didn't have these like neck fins, but they look wicked, don't they? And he's like, yeah, that's okay, go.
So that's why that raptor's in a red dress.
That's why factually it's inaccurate, because raptors are actually tiny.
Yeah,
they just come in, he's just crying in his trailer, be like, I'll come back as a drawing Dilophosaurus.
Don't worry about the feathers on the T-Rex.
Why is he crying? Oh, he's just seen the designs on the flea circus.
Awesome. Alicia, what's your prediction and wish?
I was thinking about what games I think are definitely going to be announced next year. And I thought that maybe Telltale James Bond might be up there. Because there was a leak anyway that said that they were working on a game called like 007 Solstice.
Really?
Yeah. And we don't know. It was a screenshot that leaked. And that could absolutely be fake. But
I do love if they've obviously they've done that as a code name. I mean, they just used his code name.
Imagine if it was a Bourne game. Just like,
That would be amazing. But yeah, I mean, it's
How
quite.
do they know?
It's quite possible, but I don't know. The flip side to it is that we do know that they're working on like a cross-media game, so it's like a TV series / video game, actually original IP. Because the thing is with Telltale, they just rip off everyone else's stuff and make like these.
I don't know if
episodic
buying
games.
a license is ripping off.
I know, I'm being facetious.
I feel like
But,
them doing an original thing is not what they're good at.
But this is the thing.
Yes,
It
not.
sounds like it's an actually.
Yeah.
It's not based on a pre-existing IP. They're meant to be doing this like original thing. So
and that's the one they're going to try and launch the TV show and the game from.
Well, no. So
That's
everyone was saying that they're steering away from doing this kind of taking stuff off of other IP. But then this
Right.
leak happens. So it's like, well, are they releasing 2 games? What are they going to do?
They usually have multiple in production. Like,
Yeah.
They also
do
sacked
take
a
on a lot.
quarter of the company like 2 months ago, so
Yeah.
it might just not be in production.
I would like.
So we
I wouldn't
never
mind
know.
a Bond one. Like,
But
I've
that's
played
the
one of
thing.
their games for a while. to
They
be
might have
honest.
just decided that was a safer bet, and like we don't know. So, but
Bond
it
is a
could be
banker.
possible.
I wonder who you get to play. Oh, he gets probably just be Troy Baker, wouldn't it?
I felt really bad about the Telltale thing because it was like the day before, and this guy that we've spoken to before at Telltale added video at IGN to like his LinkedIn. And it was like basically asking for like, I think it was like asking for endorsement. I don't know how LinkedIn works.
Right.
But yeah, so everybody who's on video at IGN, which is a lot of people, got this email from this dude going like, hey, what's up? Check out my LinkedIn.
Oh wait, so he was. Wait, so you wanted to be a video editor for us?
No, I think he was asking IGN. I think he basically was like putting IGN as whatever you do on LinkedIn, being like, hey, I've kind
endorse me for this.
Yes, yeah,
so that
yeah.
when he applies for stuff,
Got you,
has endorsements.
got you.
there we are. Joe,
yeah,
prediction / wish.
I want Disney to buy Ziff Davis, our holding company.
Yeah,
Change nothing.
yeah,
Like Ziff Davis, leave them alone.
yeah.
But just buy them. Plus IGN UK in Ant-Man and the Wasp.
What would have happened if?
Small part.
What would have happened?
Yeah.
If would Disney have bought us technically? If we were still owned by Fox, or was that a different
Yeah,
Fox?
it would have been.
Yeah.
Sure, we would have been. That could have happened.
We could have been
I
in the
thought it was the
MCU.
weekend.
Could have been Ant-Man and the Wasp.
We could have been officially in the MCU.
Do you imagine that emailing Iger? Picture of us.
Bobby!
Phase 4, baby.
Bobby! Is Bobby coming the all hands?
I tell you what, I tell you,
Go.
if that had happened, we absolutely would have edited the end of the Infinity War trailer when Thor goes, "Who are you guys? Shove us."
That'd be lovely.
Oh, that would have been
that'd be really good.
Let's do it anyway.
Why did we get sold? That was on your watch. What happened?
I was very junior at that point. I said,
passing the buck.
we're losing the free Coca-Colas. I don't think this is a shrewd business decision.
But you got silenced. If that happened now, you would have, like, I feel like you could have fought for us.
Yeah.
So we could be an Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Yeah.
Probably worth reiterating again. Very happy as Ziff Davis.
Yes.
Your P45 has been put safely back.
I'm fine. He's fucked.
I'm broadly fine with being as if, no, I'm fine, they're good.
Old Defo over here is going to be out on his arse.
To be fair, we don't have enough films in production. For Gav's liking. we
I
bought.
always say that.
We do have the rights for Moon Knight. That's why we haven't seen him. Ziff Davis just bought it in the early 90s. It's
Imagine that.
mad.
Yeah.
That would be great if we just owned one of them.
Yeah.
Nice.
My prediction / wish, John Hammer's Batman.
Oh,
Matt Reeves
yes.
is Batman.
Apparently, John Hamm is very, very interested in playing it. And
He's got the jawline.
Yeah, he's got the chin.
And,
weird.
And I thought, because you hear all these stupid rumors and stuff all the time, but it didn't strike me as an actual good possibility until I interviewed Matthew
Until I
Vaughn.
photoshopped the cowl.
And it goes on really easy.
Gav's just walking
Real
around.
easy.
Gav actually in his wallet has a little cut out of the cowl that he can just put over any magazine or hold up against.
That's
the
why
person's
Ben
face.
Affleck looks so uncomfortable in it, because it was made for John Hamm's head. Yeah. Shoved it on. Come on, Affleck.
But it didn't strike me as a thing that anybody would want to go near until I interviewed Matthew Vaughn. He said, just an interesting thing, which is obviously right.
Yeah.
Which is you never want to be someone someone who's taken over when something's been good. You want to take over when everyone is done with it.
Moved on, yeah.
Like, nobody wants Batman anymore. No one is interested in Batman. So, and Matt Reeves doing it.
Well, it's like
fucking
we're
brilliant.
in that point again. Like, you want to be Nolan after Schumacher.
Absolutely, yeah.
And then you want to be the guy following Snyder.
And that's the thing. Like, I don't want. Like, people are like, oh, it needs to cast an unknown. No, you fucking don't. You cast John Hamm.
Of course
to do
you
it.
don't. Why would you ever put an unknown in Batman?
And John Hamm's not up to much, to be honest. Like, he's quite like, I looked on his IMDb today. I was like, obviously he's got other irons in the fire, but he's not doing Matthew Weiner's new TV show.
Do you reckon he might do another Black Mirror episode? Quite enjoyed him in Black Mirror.
Do you know what? I really thought I didn't like that one, and I rewatched it again the other day.
Good.
It's really good.
Horrible ending.
Really good. Yeah.
That's Black Mirror. Have they ever brought back an actor?
Yeah, they have, because they've brought back, haven't they, for season... I mean, I don't know. This is the season that you've watched and I've not.
I don't know.
But I swear the lady from San Junipero, I swear I saw a screenshot of her.
I don't think she is off the top of my head.
Like, he looked like her.
No.
Yeah.
Not that I know off the top of my head.
No,
It's like, it is a shared world to a degree, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know if they've cropped up again.
Although I feel like that John Hamm story ends. I don't need to see what that guy's up to now, because it's pretty nasty. He's probably gone round a bend, hasn't he?
Oh yeah, he's not having a good time.
Yeah. But yeah, John Hamm versus as Batman. That's my prediction / wish. So join us in 2019.
Join us for the rest of the year.
To see whose thing has come right. Thank you very much for listening to the IGN UK podcast for this last year. If you've got anything good to say, you can get in touch. IGN_UK feedback at IGN.com. No keyword countdown this week because we've just done a Christmas special. How many do you want from me? Thank you very much. We'll be back normal next week.
We should probably record this in January, shouldn't we?
Yeah, shut up. It's fine.
Legends. Long have legends inspired people the world over. For in legends, we see the worlds of the impossible unfold before us.
Heroic quests, horrific monsters, gods, magic, tales of the valiant and the villainous. But more than that, in legend, we see ourselves reflected in the stories we tell.
I'm William Stark.
And I'm Omar Timsaw.
And we are D&D Legends and Lore. Join us as we explore the fantastic lore of the world's most popular tabletop RPG. Suddenly, a beam of radiant light pierces the haze. Then, a powerful angel streaks down from above. She is pure beauty, fury, and zeal.
Arashni, your sentence has been spoken by the Sildarine. For what you have done, you are declared demon. Be what you are, and go where you must. You can find D&D Legends and Lore on YouTube, iTunes, Spotify, or anywhere podcasts can be found.
Welcome to the ultimate social deduction game, Blood on the Clock Tower.
The evil team must stalk the streets at night, hunting down members of the good team one by one. Meanwhile, the good team must outmaneuver the evil team using their unique abilities.
I'd like to kick things off by telling you all that I'm possibly the demon.
Our players can mislead and manipulate others with absolute freedom.
I didn't like hearing my name in the same sentence as demon. That was very upsetting for me. Emily and I will be your storytellers, guiding you through every labyrinthian twist and turn.
How are there so many evil players in this game? What's happening?
With guests from No Rolls Barred, the Pandemonium Institute, and Oxventure, you won't be able to stop listening. Go to realmspod.com/clocktower to find out more.